The Headless Horseman, United States. The legend of Sleepy Hollow, the return of the Headless Horseman. As the moon hung low over the Hudson River, casting an eerie glow over the autumn landscape, the small village of Sleepy Hollow lay blanketed in mist. Nestled among towering trees and winding roads, the town had always held a haunting allure, its history rich with stories that blurred the line between reality and myth. But none loomed as large in the minds of the townsfolk as the Headless Horseman, the spectral figure who, legend said, rode through the night in search of his missing head. In the years since Ichabod Crane's mysterious disappearance, the legend of the horseman had faded. Children no longer shivered in fear when they heard the stories, and visitors to the town treated the tale as a quaint bit of folklore. But that all changed on one fateful October night. An autumn chill settled over Sleepy Hollow, and a thick fog rolled in as the clock struck midnight. The night was still, save for the occasional hoot of an owl or the crunch of leaves underfoot. Abigail Green, a young historian researching the colonial legends of Sleepy Hollow, had recently moved to town. She was fascinated by the Headless Horseman story and felt drawn to the dark, mysterious woods. She wasn't superstitious, but something about the tale called to her. Eager to understand the roots of the legend, Abigail decided to venture out under the cover of darkness, hoping to capture the essence of the place that had birthed one of America's most enduring ghost stories. Equipped with a lantern, a notebook, and a sense of adventure, Abigail trekked toward the bridge where Ichabod had last been seen. As she approached, the mist seemed to grow denser, clinging to her clothes and swirling around her feet. The bridge, weathered and covered in moss, creaked beneath her step, and she paused, feeling a sudden prickle of unease. Suddenly, the wind picked up, carrying with it the faint sound of hoofbeats in the distance. She froze, her heart pounding. It must be her imagination, she thought, or perhaps some local trickster trying to spook her. But the sound grew louder, the thunderous rhythm of hooves echoing through the trees. Abigail's breath caught in her throat as she spotted a figure emerging from the fog, riding a massive black horse that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. The rider was clad in dark, tattered armor, with a cloak billowing behind him. But his head, he had no head. In his hands, he held a jack-o'-lantern, its sinister grin flickering with an unnatural light. The Headless Horseman. Abigail tried to scream, but her voice betrayed her. She stumbled backward, dropping her notebook as she struggled to keep her balance on the slippery bridge. The horseman urged his steed forward, and the ground seemed to tremble under the weight of his spectral charge. His jack-o'-lantern head cast an eerie orange glow over the surroundings, illuminating the ghastly expression carved into its face. Paralyzed by terror, Abigail watched as the horseman drew closer, his arm raised as if ready to hurl the flaming pumpkin at her. In her desperation, she managed to find her voice. "Wait," she cried, holding up her lantern as if it could somehow protect her. "I'm here to understand. To tell your story. Please, I mean no harm." To her surprise, the horseman paused. His hollow gaze bore into her, the light from the jack-o'-lantern casting strange, shifting shadows over his armor. The steed snorted, pawing the ground impatiently, but the horseman remained still. In the silence, Abigail dared to take a step forward, her fear tempered by curiosity. "Why do you haunt this place?" she asked, her voice trembling. "What keeps you here, bound to these woods?" The horseman tilted his pumpkin head as if considering her question. Then, in a voice like the rustling of dead leaves, he spoke. "I seek what was taken from me." Abigail's pulse quickened. The legends always said he was searching for his head, but no one knew why or how it had been lost. "Who took it?" she asked. "Can I help you find peace?" The horseman did not answer. Instead, he extended his hand, the flames from the jack-o'-lantern flaring as he leaned closer. Abigail felt a chill seep into her bones as his hollow gaze met hers. "You carry a spirit of curiosity, but beware. Not all truths are meant to be found." With a sudden, thunderous roar, the horseman swung the jack-o'-lantern through the air, and a blinding light erupted around them. Abigail stumbled back, shielding her eyes, and when the light faded, he was gone. The fog lifted, and the woods fell silent once more. Shaken, Abigail gathered her notebook and hurried back to town. She wasn't sure what she had encountered, ghost, legend, or perhaps some twisted memory of the past. But one thing was certain, the horseman was still out there, bound to the land, a restless spirit wandering in search of something lost to time. Sleepy Hollow's legend lived on, no longer just a story but a chilling truth. And Abigail knew she would never forget the night she came face to face with the Headless Horseman.